She's involved in a lot of things here. She's involved in robotics, D groups, student ambassadors, STAN gang, student advisory board, and track and field, and NHS. She will be attending Texas A&M Mays Business School, and in her free time she enjoys hunting and fishing with her family, or cooking and baking for her friends. We all know that she's going to fit in great at Texas A&M because she helped Miss Stewart teach her English class how to two-step.
Hello, my name is Byars, and I'm a member of the Scholar Class of 2018, and today I'll be discussing trophy hunting. In the fall, I discussed my review of related literature, so I'll give a brief overview of this role. Once agriculture was implemented into society, hunting was no longer needed as means for survival. Thus, trophy hunting and safari hunting later began in Africa. This background led me to my problem statement, which states, what are the sociological and psychological factors motivating a person to hunt big game, and how have society's views of trophy hunting changed over time since the era of Theodore Roosevelt? Furthermore, how did these views impact trophy hunting both economically and socially, specifically in regards to public shaming through online outlets of editorial and social medias? The reason man hunts can be seen in Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory, which is divided into 5 categories: the physiological need, the need for safety, the need for belonging, the need for esteem, and the need for self-actualization. Additionally, trophy hunting can be considered psychopathic, as some trophy hunters express psychopathic traits, such as a grandiose estimation of self, a need for stimulation, and a lack of empathy. Additionally, ever since the era of Theodore Roosevelt, there's been an increase in the personification of animals due to movies such as Disney's Bambi, or due to the harassment from animal rights groups such as PETA or the Humane Society of the United States. Despite these views, trophy hunting does economically impact these local African communities, as it provides food for the local African natives and jobs through the trophy hunting tourism industry. Lastly, many trophy hunters are criticized online, as many people believe they are murderers and killers. Some famous examples of hunters criticized online include Kendall Jones and Walter Palmer. This review-related literature led me to conduct my own research by sending out 2 surveys, one for hunters and one for non-hunters. My first hunter survey null states, the majority of hunters do not enjoy an enhancement of self-esteem through hunting, and my second states, the majority of hunters do not want to hunt the Big 5 or Danger 7. For null hypothesis 1, I calculated the p-value of the amount of hunters who selected no when asked if they hunt to impress others. The calculated p-value was 1. Thus, I failed to reject the null and can suggest the majority of hunters do not enjoy an enhancement of self-esteem through hunting. For null hypothesis 2, I calculated the p-value of the amount of hunters who selected no when asked if they someday, if not already, would like to hunt the Big 5 or Danger 7. The calculated p-value was nearly 1. Thus, I failed to reject the null and can suggest the majority of hunters do not want to hunt the Big 5 or Danger 7. My first non-hunter survey null states, the majority of non-hunters do not believe hunters enjoy an enhancement of self-esteem through hunting. My second states, the majority of non-hunters believe hunters are psychopaths. For null hypothesis 1, I calculated the p-value of the amount of non-hunters who selected no when asked if they believe hunters hunt to impress others. The calculated p-value was 0.005. Thus, I rejected the null and have statistically significant evidence to suggest the majority of non-hunters believe hunters enjoy an enhancement of self-esteem through hunting. For null hypothesis 2, I calculated the p-value of the amount of non-hunters who selected yes all when asked if they believe hunters are psychopaths. Calculated p-value was nearly 0. Thus, I rejected the null and have statistically significant evidence to suggest the majority of non-hunters do not believe all hunters are psychopaths. Additionally, I conducted my own case study based on the question, what does a certified safari hunting guide from South Africa believe his motivations for hunting are, and how do his beliefs correlate with Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory? To test this question, I interviewed a professional hunter from South Africa and found that he satisfies the need for food, the need for safety, and the need for self-actualization, but does not satisfy the need for belonging or the need for esteem. In addition, he hunts for motives outside of Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory, such as loving the enjoyment of taking others hunting and connecting them to the outdoors. All good research leads to further research, as I was very interested in the psychopathic section of my review-related literature, so I wanted to see if there's a correlation between hunting animals and quote-unquote hunting humans. Thus, I decided to briefly look into how famous serial killers with APD, APD, BPD, or schizophrenia impacted the advancements of criminal profiling in forensic and investigative processes. Psychologists do not diagnose serial killers, as this term is not acknowledged in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, or DSM. However, they will diagnose or recognize them with antisocial personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, or schizophrenia. Each of these personalities have their own distinctive traits. Nevertheless, they each have similar traits seen in serial killers. The FBI will analyze these personalities when criminal profiling to gain information regarding these similar traits. Those with narcissistic personality disorder are known for showing an unrealistic sense of superiority, a lack of empathy, and a need and desire for praise and high esteem. Thus, they tend to be termed egocentric, immoral, conceited, and demanding. Some common symptoms include exaggerations, fantasizing, immoderate demands, envy, arrogance, and exploitation of others. Those with antisocial personality disorder are noticeably different, as they tend to violate, neglect, and disregard the personal entitlements of others. Some common symptoms include manipulation skills, mercilessness, irresponsibility, absence of sanity and stability, violation and disregard of others and laws, and hypocritical and deceitful mannerisms. Ted Bundy, who's one of the most prominent and eminent serial killers, confessed to the raping and killing of 36 women. However, many speculate a higher body count. Bundy is considered to have APD, as he is known to be charming and manipulative while also being irritable and aggressive. In the cases of his crimes, he showed mercilessness, absence of sanity and stability, and violation and disregard of others and laws. He is also considered to have NPD, as during his trial, he was easily offended by any criticism and always claimed to be right. The FBI studied Bundy's behavioral and crime scene patterns to gain information regarding experiences, behavior, and qualities to help later combat and stop future serial killers of similar forms of violence. Those with borderline personality disorder are unstable in all factors of life: temperament, relationships, behavior, and self-image. Some common symptoms include identity issues, home life issues, work issues, and difficulty planning long-term, thus causing impulsive actions, such as substance abuse or self-harm. Jeffrey Dahmer, notorious for killing men and practicing necrophilia and cannibalism, is an example of how mental illness can influence violent behavior. Dahmer would lure men into his house, where he proceeded to drug, dismember, kill, and have sexual relations with these men. He even saved memorabilia from his kills, typically photos or bodyboards of the victims. Dahmer was diagnosed with BPD only shortly before his trial, as he turned to substance abuse during stressful periods, had identity issues, and struggled with home life. Furthermore, Dahmer aided criminologists in uncovering the link between animal abuse and murder to human abuse and murder, as those who torture animals as kids, such as Jeffrey Dahmer did, have a higher chance of obtaining a personality disorder than becoming a serial killer. Lastly, schizophrenia is a chronic and severe mental illness where those diagnosed, known as schizophrenics, hear voices, hallucinate, and believe lies. They also express many cognitive symptoms, such as memory issues, functioning issues, and stability issues. David Berkowitz, also referred to as Son of Sam, is known for publicly shooting and killing citizens in New York because his neighbor's howling dog commanded him to do it. To protect himself from the devil, Berkowitz thought he must obey his howling dog. Hence, he is termed a paranoid schizophrenic, as he heard voices, hallucinated, believed lies, and thought that something or someone was constantly plotting against him. Additionally, when criminologists were studying his trial, they noticed the commonality of his main victims being female. Berkowitz even later stated in court he felt rejected by society, and especially women. Thus, to release his anger for society and women, he decided to target these young, attractive females. Hence, Berkowitz aided criminologists in uncovering a link between a serial killer's weaknesses and the victims they go after. In conclusion, I discussed how those with APD, NPD, BPD, and schizophrenia have aided criminologists and the FBI with criminal profiling. As stated earlier, I was interested in briefly looking at this topic due to the interest in the psychopathic section of my review-related literature, and even tested it when asking non-hunters if they thought hunters were psychopaths, and found that they do not. Trophy hunting related biblically to Genesis 9:3, which states, "Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you, even as the green grass I have given you all things," which shows how God gave us as humans dominion over plants and animals, and we can use them for food. Thank you, and are there any questions?